Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back, another Palm Master video, and yesterday we had the new dev letter, right? I think the 17th one. Oh my god, it's been 17 dev letters already? But yeah, that's a lot of dev letters. But yeah, they talked about a bunch of things, and among them was the new legendary event coming up called Give and Take, and they talked about, it being Xerneas and Yveltal, right? Will begin on February the 10th, which is about a month from now, right? And again, Xerneas and Yveltal will be there. Each forms a sync pair with a trainer who might be a little unexpected, so try to guess who their partners might be. And we're gonna do just that. Let's, see what they could be, right? So they did mention that the trainer will be a little unexpected, which is kind of weird because when you think about the Kalos legendaries, right? Whether it be Xerneas Yveltal, they're mainly only associated with like Lysander and maybe AZ a bit, right? Like they really aren't associated with like anyone else outside of like Kalos, really, right? So it could still be Lysander just because, again, they're like Yveltal, like the Lysander, they're so incredibly closely associated. But they did mention that it will be a little unexpected. And if it is unexpected, then, because, like, if it's Lysander, that's completely expected. You can't say it's, like, that's completely expected. So if it's something unexpected, then let's see what that is, right? And also, now that, like, Gyarados is kind of off the table, it's not completely off the table because they could run dupes for Pokemon, right? And if they're not giving Lysander one of the legendaries, Lysander probably just going to get Pyroar, which still makes a lot of sense because Lysander has, like, a lot of Pokemon that are, like, sort of his, like, signature Pokemon-ish, right? So, anyways, we're putting Lysander off the table right now, and who else could potentially be, their trainers, right? When you actually look at these Pokemon, again, like I mentioned before, there really aren't any clues as to like who their trainers could be, right? Because they're not associated with like any other trainers, right? Same with Yveltal. So I've been thinking maybe one angle that we could go at it would be potentially looking at their types, and it could be, maybe it's a Sing-Suit version of a trainer that we've already had in the game before, and then they could give Sing-Suit version this legendary Pokemon. So looking at that, when we look at the Fairy types and Dark type trainers that we have in the game, there really aren't that many. Either, right? These are like our fairy type options, and these are like our dark type options, with Grimsley already having like another alt, so I don't really feel like Grimsley could get another alt this quick. Like, dude's getting like 3 before, I don't know, anyone else gets like 3 alts. That would be kind of, don't really feel like that's going to happen. So if we're looking at like any other dark type trainers that's already in the game, it's either Karen Houndoom or Nanu Persian, which they don't really feel like the type, right? When you think about it, but it's possible, I guess, maybe, right? And also they did mention that one of them is going to be, from the legendary event, one's going to be scouted, right? Or appear in the sync pair scout, and it really doesn't seem like we're gonna get to choose because that makes no sense. It's probably going to be set, right? And if that's the case, we also could like sort of look at like maybe they want to like if they want to make Yveltal like the summable one, right? They could finally make Nanu like a summonable sync pair, right? But on the other hand, like when you look at Fairy, whoops, that's weak to Fairy. How do I clear this? Game Press isn't working. Help. Anyways, whatever. When we look at Fairy, we also do have like another free to play sync pair, which is Valerie. Which, by the way, Valerie does kind of maybe fit a bit with like Xerneas, I guess. I mean, and by fit a bit, I mean that they're both fairy type and they come from Kalos. So could Valerie be an option? Potentially, right? There really aren't any other like fairy types. Like it's like the only two like fairy type trainers over here are like Mina and Valerie, right? I mean, Lyra, Erica, Lily, they're not like fairy type trainers. They just have fairy type Pokemon, right? Or for their sync pair. So Valerie, I could see potentially being an option for Xerneas, right? So maybe something like Valerie and Nanu, Singsu versions of Valerie and Nanu, or I don't know, Singsu versions of Valerie and Karen, maybe. Those might be options. But yeah, it just seems so. Like again, they say unexpected, so we're just trying to go for like stuff that are unexpected, right? Um, Here's the thing. I don't really think it could be a protagonist, right? Singsu version of protagonist. Like if people are wondering, oh, could it be like Singsu Kalem, right? But I've been thinking maybe they've been, just trying to save up Singsu versions for protagonists for like each of their anniversaries, right? First year anniversary got Singsu version of the Gen 1 protags, and then, year 2 they could give us the Singsu versions of the Gen 2 protags, right? Year 3 Gen 6 version of Gen 3 protags, etc., right? And if that is the case, maybe it just takes out the protagonists from the equation, which generally protagonists do have a bit more freedom in terms of what types they could get, right? In terms of Pokemon, right? So those are some considerations, I guess. Another option could be just the main character, just like how with Solgaleo, right? You could maybe get the main character involved in that mix somehow. Maybe the main character gets the gets the legendary event version, then someone else gets the scouted version, right? And also looking at like which one could be from the legendary event, which one could be from the sync pair scout. There are some options, right? I am leaning towards maybe Xerneas being the scoutable one, and then Yveltal being the legendary event one, just because like Xerneas is fairy type, and then Yveltal is like dark type. So in the legendary event, maybe they could have stages that you battle Yveltal, and Yveltal is like weak to fairy or whatever, right? Something like that. But yeah, we'll have to see. There really isn't like any like really hard indicators, and yeah, they also mentioned that we could get them to 5 out of 5, 20 out of 20. So I wouldn't really expect a synchrid from these, right? Or well, I mean, I would expect one from the scoutable ones. I don't know about the legendary event one, right? Because so far we haven't gotten any. It would be cool if they do, but I wouldn't really count on it. However, just looking back at these two sync pairs, right? Xerneas I could definitely see being like some sort of like support-ish Pokemon, right? But they could also make it do damage as well. It's possible. Like whichever one becomes a free one, is good, right? Like whichever one's the free one is good, because we don't have that many dark type strikers in the game, nor do we have that many fairy types, which again, Xerneas might not be a striker, but like most supports nowadays could like you could potentially do some good damage with them, right? But we'll have to see, especially if Xerneas is the scoutable version, or is the scoutable one. Then definitely with synchro all that stuff, it could definitely do some solid damage, right? So we'll see how it goes. But Xerneas obviously known for geomancy. Maybe they can make it so geomancy. Obviously, if guys don't know, geomancy is like an omni boost thing, right? Well, not completely everything, but it boosts a decent amount. Right, so they can maybe give give some sort of like some geomancy sort of thing for Xerneas, and have like it be a support with like the opposite of go viral, which makes this like spread on like your own team, right? Something like that could be potentially pretty powerful, right? We'll see how it is, and do keep in mind, like in terms of like legendary event, right? Legendary event Pokemon, they generally have only like one trainer move and three like moves, right? And usually they are of at least two different types, right? If you see with Ho-Oh, Mewtwo, like they all have like at least two different, like Rayquaza, right? Two different types of moves. So looking at both like Yveltal and Xerneas, it does also kind of suggest to me that maybe Xerneas is Yveltal is the legendary event, because it has like a secondary type, so it's easier to like just throw in a flying type move with Yveltal as well, right? Either give it like Oblivion Wing and like Dark Pulse or whatever, right? And that's also the weird part, because I really do think they're gonna make it make Yveltal dark type, because it's gonna be really really weird if they make it like flying type, even though it is dark flying, right? But it's primary dark, right? And usually for all the legendaries so far, they've given them their primary types, right? So Galileo Steel, Rayquaza's Dragon, Ho-Oh is Fire, right, etc. Palkia's Dragon. And it would just kind of be weird if they give it flying. But then again, the signature move for Yveltal is Oblivion Wing, right? So maybe they just make like the sync move not Oblivion Wing, because like if you're a flying type, then your sync move has to be flying type, right? That's how it goes, right? If you're a dark type, your sync move has to be a dark type. So maybe both of them might not have their signature move as their as their sync move, because Geomancy unless they're gonna make a Geomancy, and this is the other option, right? Unless they can make like Geomancy like sort of like Eevee's Eevee sync move. Although Geomancy, if you use it as a sync move, it's just so less powerful than Eevee's, right? Eevee's is just so much better, right? Eevee's basically buffs almost every stat except for I think evasion and crit, right? And on the other hand, Geomancy, it's only what special attack, special defense, and speed, right? So we'll see, right? And also like if it is powered by Farium Z, you do get like all the other stats, but I don't know if they're gonna make it like a Z move, right? Because if it does have that effect, you'll have to make it a Z move, right? And that would be kind of weird as well, because then it's not Geomancy for one, and the other thing is, I mean, it is a Gen 6 legendary, and Z moves are a Gen 7 thing, right? So I don't know. It could be really weird. So I could see potentially both of their sync moves, like Xerneas' sync move being Moonblast, and then Yveltal's sync move being like Dark Pulse or something, right? And then as for like Xerneas, if Xerneas was the legendary event, Pokemon instead, I don't know. I really don't know what like other move they give. Like it could be something like Geomancy, Moonblast, and Mega Horn. Maybe they give Mega Horn. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be really weird for a for Xerneas operating as like a legendary event support, because again, you only have like one trainer move, right? And the other three has to be like moves. They don't have to be offensive moves, but they have to be moves, right? Either consuming MP or consuming move gauges, or like maybe a light screen, I guess. That could be an option, but like you're not really, that does kind of break the trend for like hitting things for or at least like two different type damaging moves. But you can maybe get light screen in there, I guess, or something like aromatherapy to to get rid of status or whatever, or misty terrain could be the other one. And also, like, here's the thing: people make this mistake a lot about Mystery Terrain users. Mystery Terrain does not boost Fairy type moves. Yeah, people always like think Mystery Terrain boosts Fairy type moves. It doesn't. It doesn't boost Fairy type moves, folks. It's just like a safeguard kind of thing, right? Can't get affected by non-volatile status conditions, all that stuff, and has the power of Dragon type moves. Although that being said, that doesn't stop masters from in the future giving sync pairs that get any sort of like stat boost or like any other things that they could do in like Mystery Terrain, like how they do with like electro repulsion or whatever, right? Whatever the other stuff is in like electric terrain, or even in sun, right? Like solar flare, refreshing rain. They could definitely give those, passives, even passives that could boost damage in Mystery Terrain in the future, right? But Mystery Terrain itself doesn't give any damage multipliers. It's more of a defensive kind of thing, right? Which I guess makes a lot of sense with Xerneas. So Xerneas could be a Mystery Terrain user, although again, Mystery Terrain not that not that great of a terrain, I guess, right? But we'll see, right? So yeah, there definitely are some options here, right? If it's not Lysander, like it is kind of hard to pick who else. But outside of that, Xerneas being support could be something really interesting. I mean, they could also make Xerneas a striker, honestly, if they want, right? Just like something like Moonblast, again, Megahorn, something like that. Like they could, but like Xerneas just seems more like a support to me, right? And Yveltal just seems more like a striker, right? With like something like Dark Pulse, Oblivion Wing, unless like it's like some kind of like, whoops, didn't mean to click that. Unless they make like Yveltal like some kind of like weird like tank kind of thing with like Oblivion Wing, that would be kind of weird. I don't know, since it heals. But anyways, we'll see. But yeah, that's my this one. I guess hope you guys enjoy. Let me guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to my channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I'm super hyped for these to come out. I do think I hope it is Lysander, honestly, just so we get like more Kalos sync pairs. And I do like Valerie and Xerneas could be a really great combo, like especially if Xerneas is a support, so we could have her finally our first Kalos support, because we literally have no one to fill the Kalos support theme skill. So hopefully we get that, I guess. That should be fun. But anyways, again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know guys think in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one.